This is episode 31 of the TO SportsTalk podcast. I'm your host, James Price, along with Evan Brown. How's it going, bud, on this beautiful Thursday, October afternoon that's actually quite warm?
Well, it's funny because the last 2 days have been complete crap weather-wise, so it's great to have some sun, and it's regular time for the podcast.
I mean, yeah, 20 degrees, nice bright sun, and the last 2 days, like you said, rain and cold has been muggy.
All that crap. So first off, we're going to start out with the Leafs. And a huge win last night over the Montreal Canadiens, 3-2 in overtime.
Just beautiful.
Just beautiful win. So, again, we're going to be talking about who impressed us, who didn't, and I guess we're going to be going around the league as well to see who stepped up.
And for the Toronto Raptors, preseason game number 2 has come and gone, and Kawhi Leonard looks in mid-season form. He's looking real good. We'll talk about the surprises, who's been good, who hasn't been good, and I guess what the roster should look like moving forward.
And postseason baseball is upon us. We're going to be talking about that. And also, next manager for the Toronto Blue Jays, we're going to be talking about that as well in episode 31 of the TO Sports Talk podcast. So let's get things rolling with, it is really windy in this room. I might have to shut the window. But anyways, what did you think of last night's game?
Not pretty, but as everybody usually says, good teams find ways to win.
And we are a good team.
You're darn right.
But I have to give credit to the Habs.
Yeah,
they looked good. Max Domi looked phenomenal. Carey Price is Carey Price, making huge saves. And, obviously the Leafs have 3 first-line centers, arguably.
Yeah.
And with the loss of JVR and Bozak.
And Leo Komarov as well. I know, you lose
Leo Komarov, right? But I'm sorry, that power play looks amazing. Deadly.
It's crazy. I mean, when you have so many options, people like, let's cover Austin Matthews. He's one of the cornerstones of that power play. Okay, leave Tavares and Mitch Marner and Nazem Kadri wide open. Oh, no, we got to cover them too. Oh, well, and Morgan Riley's there, and he ain't too shabby. So this power play is ridiculous.
Yeah, and that shot by Matthews.
Oh my God.
Toe drag, snip show.
When you beat a guy like Carey Price with no screen, like clean. Well, I think it actually hit Carey Price's shoulder.
No, it didn't. It did not hit Carey Price's shoulder. It was straight over him, and again, Carey, great goalie, but it wasn't his fault. That was just a rocket of a shot, man.
And same with John Tavares' goal. Rocket of a shot in the top corner of the net.
That was what, 5-hole? Or no?
No, it was top corner. Top left corner.
Oh, jeez.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful shot by Tavares, and then, of course, Austin Matthews finishing it off. I think Austin Matthews is not only a great player, he's smart. And when you look at that overtime goal, you think to yourself, well, okay, quite a few times in this game so far, the Leafs have tried this cross-seam pass and haven't got the puck up, and Carey Price has made some sporadic saves. You look at Josh Levo's opportunity, which was ridiculous, but Carey Price made the save, couldn't get the puck up, went right into his pad. A couple other opportunities, same thing. Yeah. So on that pass from Patrick Marleau, I bet Austin Matthews is thinking, we got to get that puck up, and he roofs it into the top of the net. If it was low, Carey Price is making that save.
Oh, for sure.
But he roofs it, as a smart player and a great player does, and he ends the game in overtime.
The one thing, or I guess like the couple things that really annoy me, was the passes. The long breakout passes. They just don't work.
No.
They don't work. Riley was doing them. Gardner was doing them a lot, and it just never worked. Either it'd be too crisp or too hard of a pass, and then it would go off their stick. Or just something would happen where, like, the Montreal player would intercept the pass or it'd get called for icing.
Yep.
They need to stop doing that. Again, if it works, great. But if it doesn't, turnover and then you're leading. Yeah, exactly. And I'm sorry. Jake Gardner, I understand what we expect out of him, and I understand what his flaws are, but he didn't look that good in this game.
No, he really didn't. And
especially in his own end, and we know how he is in his own end.
We've talked about his positives. We talked about, the ability to get points. We know what that is, and the ability to keep the puck in the zone in big moments of games when it comes to like a power play or an empty net and you need a goal. He's amazing at keeping the puck in the zone. But like you said, there are lots of flaws in his own end. Excuse me. And speaking of long breakout passes, Travis Dermott doesn't do a whole lot of that. And the reason I like him so much, and we've talked about it before, he reminds me of a Jake Gardner, but smarter. His skating is, it looks like Jake Gardner out there, for goodness sakes, and he's got the shot, but he's smarter.
Listen, if Travis Dermott doesn't see an open pass, he curls around his net and he looks for it. He doesn't rush it. If Jake Gardner, if he sees somebody if they're covered or not, he's still gonna pass it.
Yeah.
Same thing with Riley too. I noticed again, Riley skates up to the he's extremely fast skater, but he does the same thing as Jake Gardner, where he just kind of throws it at a player if they're covered or not, and then it's usually icing, right? So, and that's what Roman Polak's done. But with Travis Dermott and with even Zaitsev, I feel like they're really good if they can't find a pass. They just curl back to their net and they wait for, like another line to get on or for somebody to get open. There's no rush. Right? So that's what I think Morgan Riley and especially Jake Gardner should do with this team.
And something that I noticed, Ron Hainsey still does not look like Ron Hainsey at the start of last year. He can't. I'm going to go down here and look at Ron Hainsey's minutes because he doesn't even have it on here.
I guess he played that
20
much.
minutes. 20 minutes as a 38-year-old defenseman. I mean, that's crazy. Put into perspective, Zaitsev played 22. Ozhiganov only played 13, but I mean, you want to try and get him more. Travis Dermott played 17.
Why don't they put Riley and Hainsey on the second pairing and put Zaitsev and Gardner on the first? They honestly could do that, and I think they would better off be doing that. Jake Gardner and Zaitsev, they had their flaws last year, but they look pretty good this game, right? So I mean, and he did take it wasn't that stupid of a penalty, but
who was it?
Hainsey.
It was an interference.
It was against
penalty.
the board.
It was a tough play.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
And it's tough when you lose Ron Hainsey, especially in the penalty kill. I was really nervous when that came down. And the crazy number is he played two more seconds than Morgan Riley. So he was the most played, other than Jake Gardner, the most played defenseman on the ice.
Because he's on that PK.
Right.
So
and playing him crazy minutes as well. It's just not. You can't be doing that.
I think Babcock should bump Riley and Hainsey down because they work well together. They really do. But I'm sorry, Ron Hainsey just cannot play top 2 minutes anymore, and not even top 4.
Yeah,
he's a bottom 6 guy.
Why don't they try Riley, Zaitsev, and Gardner, Ron Hainsey?
Yeah.
Because I want to keep Riley in that top pairing. He's got the skill to do so.
But you don't really need him on that top pairing because he's gonna get top minutes on again like the PP. So I don't know why you need him top 2 when it comes to 5-on-5. I mean, it doesn't hurt obviously, but you don't really need him there. Personally, I think Jake Gardner and Zaitsev's offensive skills are really I think they're underrated in my opinion. He had a good shot. I think this was in the second period or third period. He had a really good shot, and then Carey Price had to make a sprawling save, right?
He didn't get a point in this game, but, I mean, he was a plus. He was an even player. He didn't have a goal or assist. He had a shot. He had a hit. Again, Zaitsev was a very clean game in this one. He played Nikita Zaitsev played the most time out of anybody, 22 minutes and 47 seconds.
That's what you kind of expect.
Look, guys, I know he was terrible last year, but you can't expect the same thing. He was in and out of the lineup so many times.
He had injuries, like you said. He had other off ice
issues.
Really? Like he had a kid I know that was born. So that really wears on yourself.
Yeah,
it does. So if Zaitsev can get, I mean, even like the 70% of the Zaitsev that we first saw 2 years ago, I'm going to be happy with that. 4.5 mil for a top 4 defenseman, right-handed shot isn't bad at all.
No, it's not at all.
If he can sustain 25, maybe 30 points a year, that's fine.
Yeah, it is.
That's
now,
fine.
running through the points real quick, Austin Matthews had a couple goals, obviously. John Tavares with his first. Kadri with a couple assists. Patty Marleau with an assist off the beautiful pass to Austin Matthews in overtime. Riley with an assist on Austin Matthews' first goal. Dermott with an assist. And, of course, Jake Gardner has to grab an assist with a +1. And that's all she wrote there.
Who didn't impress you? Because I think Ennis.
I liked him. I really liked him. He's a little energy, little ball, and I like him.
Okay, now you obviously expect him to get pushed off the puck a little bit,
right? And that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's right for what. I think he was on the first line.
He was on Matthews' line, the second line there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean,
honestly, and don't be shocked if this happens. I got to say, I was really impressed with Josh Levo.
I was too. I think
not only does he have a great shot, and that's all we think about when it comes to Josh Levo, being able to put the puck in the net.
He can skate, man.
He's a big body too.
Yeah, he is.
He's strong.
I think he should switch places with what's his face.
I'm thinking Ennis. Once Nylander comes back, Ennis is gone, and Levo's either on the fourth line or third line.
I don't think he's gone necessarily.
Well, not gone, but as in like maybe up in the press box.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Andreas Janssen didn't impress me at all. I didn't even see him.
Nope. Kapanen I thought was pretty good all over the puck. Had a really good couple opportunities. I think he had a couple shots on net as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had 2 shots on goal. Andreas Janssen didn't have anything. No shots, no hits, no points, anything going on.
Actually, he caused a penalty.
He only played 8 minutes of time, and that's the least out of anybody. So it's hard to do anything in 8 minutes.
Especially when your center is Par Lindholm.
But you know what? I thought he was fantastic.
I wouldn't say fantastic. He's not really a big guy. He's not physical. He got pushed around a lot. He had that one yesterday. He had one hit, but I did notice he did get pushed around quite a bit.
Well, it's his first National Hockey
League
game. As
exactly.
every Leaf did, because you look at the hits in today's game or yesterday's game, 34-19. Everybody got pushed around when you're talking about hits.
Yeah,
and I thought Par Lindholm didn't look out of place. That was my opinion.
He
didn't score a goal. He didn't get an assist. He didn't get any points. Didn't get any crazy opportunities. But he also didn't give up any opportunities.
Like you say, he's with 2 speedy wingers.
Right.
So, hopefully that helps him generate some points. Yeah, and I think it will.
Somebody that I'm still kind of concerned about a little bit, because I haven't really seen much about him, Connor Brown.
Yeah.
I barely saw him yesterday.
He's playing in a sheltered role.
He had 1 shot on goal. He's playing with Nazem Kadri.
Yeah, it's not like he's playing with scrubs.
Right, you're not playing with any schmucks.
I liked Levo over him.
Yeah.
Well, in that game, I don't know as an actual hockey player, probably not, but he was around Bozak and JVR so much that he would have to be in that, okay, I'm going to stay back while you two just go around the net, whatever. So he's not used to being with Kadri, who's, he's not a defensive liability.
Yeah.
Right? So he has to learn that, okay, maybe I can show some offensive prowl to my game. Hopefully that's what he can do.
And
right?
you look at this game as a whole, and the Leafs won 3-2, and there were some guys we were impressed with, but overall the Leafs didn't play a very good game. No, I mean, you kind of expect that. You get rid of basically a whole line in, Bozak, JVR, and Leo Komarov.
Yeah.
And you're trying to put in a John Tavares, Ozaganov, Par Lindholm, Tyler Ennis, a lot of guys who
Josh Levo.
Even Josh Levo, who barely played at all last year.
Now, I really have to give credit to the Habs. They did really play good.
They were flying out there.
They looked more speedy than us. Their speed was really good.
The Leafs had no legs in the first 10 minutes, and they went down 1-0. But after that, when they got the power play, everything was going after that. But then even in the third period, they were really slow.
All the third. I think they had maybe a shot or two.
It was
they had one shot in the past 15 minutes or something like that.
15-7 in shots in the third period.
So that just speaks for itself.
12-9 in the second period in favor of Montreal and 9-9 in the first. But it was 6-1 in the first period at one point.
Listen, you can argue if this game wasn't 3-on-3 overtime, we would have lost. That would probably be it. Because listen, let's just say that the third period went on for 5-10 more minutes, I think Montreal would have scored. If they had all the momentum.
Yeah.
They had all the momentum.
They really did.
And then 3-on-3, we know how deadly we are, and it showed.
Yeah. And we can't start questioning the Leafs and saying, this is a terrible game. They just got lucky and they won. Look, this is game 1 of 82.
Everybody just has to calm down.
It's going to change.
And it doesn't matter if we did look bad. We got the W, and it's the first game. People have to stop overreacting. It's the first game, and it showed.
If the Washington Capitals play the Bruins tomorrow, would they win 7-0? Probably not. It probably would have been a tight game.
Well, Boston's facing, I think, the Sabres.
Right,
tomorrow.
And hey, that should be. You don't know if it's going to be a cakewalk or not because
Buffalo's a new team.
They have Rasmus Dahlin. They got a new goalie. They have Jack Eichel is now the captain of that team.
So
they could be different, but in hindsight, I mean, you look at some of these games, right? Nashville against the Rangers. You'd think the Rangers will get slapped, but you never know. It's a great thing about the NHL.
No. And the thing is about the Rangers, I've been telling you this, I don't think that they're going to make the playoffs. I have them making one of the wild card.
I don't think they're making the playoffs.
Okay, I see. I think they will because they're on a fast and steady rebuild and a retool. It's like Montreal. Maybe they can surprise some people.
Maybe. I mean, It's game 1 of 82. It's hard to tell what teams are going to improve, what teams are going to impress, and all that kind of stuff. But the Leafs didn't play well, but good teams find ways to win.
Right. And speaking of the Sabres, Jack Eichel is announced that he's the new captain.
Yeah.
Did you announce that?
Yeah, I just said that on here. That,
okay.
Dahlin's the goalie's new, and Jack Eichel's the new captain.
Oh, right.
So I mean, I clearly that franchise is his.
Well, I don't. Yeah.
They fired a coach because of him. they've made a lot of changes because of him. He's
And
he's a very vocal guy. He's not afraid to voice his opinion.
No, he's not. But I think with this team going forward, and obviously the assistant captains are Okposo, and I think it's Zach Bogosian, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I think it's a great move for Buffalo.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a great move for Buffalo, and I feel like the Leafs should do something possibly similar after last night's performance by Austin Matthews. He's going to be captain. You said it was Tavares.
No, he will be at some point. I'm saying Tavares should be the captain right now, but I'm saying at some point in time, it should be Austin Matthews.
And plus, it's not like you can assign what's his face, the captain, Tavares, and then strip it and then give it to Matthews. So that's why you have to wait, and
I don't think it really means a whole lot to me.
It's just drama,
and that's the guy that usually gets it the most.
And also,
when things go bad,
right? And also, Shea Weber is appointed captain for the Montreal Canadiens.
Won't be the captain until December, at least.
Yeah,
but
I don't understand this because, like I said before, if you assign somebody captain, it's looked upon as more drama than anything.
Yeah.
But what Montreal needs is a leader. So I can see why they did it, but like you said, they have to wait until what was it? January, December for Shea Weber to come back. At the very least.
And he's getting older, so that injury could last a little bit longer than, or that Sigmund surgery actually could last a little bit longer than expected.
But Shea Weber was the right guy, 100%.
For the captaincy, big time.
It was either him or Gallagher. You can argue Gallagher because he's a very vocal guy and whatnot. But
Shea Weber's been there and done that.
Yeah, for 6-7 years with the
Predators. Yeah,
with Nashville.
He was that good.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's right. The right moves have been made.
But I don't understand why they needed it.
No. And see, it's funny. We look at Carey Price yesterday, and we're like, man, he was fantastic, right? Numbers don't suggest that. 3 goals and 26 shots for an .885 save percentage. Not very good, but he kept that team in the game.
He looked good.
There were countless opportunities. The Leafs had great chance. I mean, Montreal did too, but the Leafs had some quality opportunities. But Carey Price in the right place at the right time, making some sprawling saves. If it was another goalie, might have been in the back of the net.
Probably. He made some spectacular saves.
Right. It could have been a lot worse for Montreal. It could have been a lot worse for the Leafs, obviously. That's the game of hockey.
I actually didn't know it was that bad.
Right. Exactly.
885.
Exactly.
It looked like he was like a 917, 920.
Exactly. You don't think that, but you look at the stat and you're like, wow, that was not great. Right.
But he looked good.
He was fantastic.
He looked good.
So everybody's saying Carey Price is not back. He's back. That
for now.
Last night, correct. Until he gets an injury.
Until he gets injured, and then he's out of the entire year, and he only played 16 games.
Oh, boy. Don't tell Montreal fans
Knock on wood.
That big money is going to be... Then you'll have a lot of money in the IR with him and Weber. Oh, boy. That'll be rough.
Yeah, so...
next up for the Leafs, the next game the Leafs play is Saturday against Ottawa at 7 o'clock. So it's a hockey night in Canada. Leafs play Montreal and Ottawa to start the year, but then they hit the road. They hit the road for quite a while after that.
Yeah.
They go to Chicago, go to Dallas, go to Detroit, and then go to Washington. Not a very easy stretch.
But this team and their forward depth, do they really need
William Nylander?
Yeah.
Well,
personally, I think throughout the first 5 or 6 games, no. But when you face Washington in Washington, you might need him.
Yeah, and then you also look at that second unit, that second power play unit, right?
Second, quote unquote, second.
Yeah. I mean, Tyler Ennis, Patrick Marleau, who was on the other side? Josh Levo, maybe?
No, Josh Levo. It was Patrick Marleau.
It was Tyler Ennis. I saw him out there.
It was Tyler Ennis, and I don't know.
Zach Hyman?
No, it was Janssen or Kapanen.
Right. I mean, you bring in a William Nylander, either you're going to move somebody from the first power play unit down, or he'll be on that second power play unit, which would help remarkably.
Well, yeah, or you could move Marner or somebody down or Kadri down from the first to the second.
I don't think you want to move Marner from Tavares, period. I don't think. You might move Matthews. Put him with Nylander.
How was Mitch Marner that game? He looked okay.
I didn't see him.
I didn't really see him, and his passing is I
didn't see a whole lot from Mitch Marner.
He was making these no-look passes, and then I feel like they would just go to the opposition. Like,
ideally,
you have
it's
to look.
like we've said, it's game 1 of 82.
It is.
He could also come out against Ottawa on the weekend and tear them up and have 3 assists.
Oh yeah, because
right?
that's just Mitch Marner. But I wasn't really impressed with him.
No, I wasn't either.
No.
Running through the schedule here through the first month of the season, after the Leafs come home from that 4-game trip, they face LA, Pittsburgh, and St. Louis. Not very easy at home. And then a home and home against the Winnipeg Jets to start the year, away on the 24th of October, and then home on the 27th. So that's going to be interesting. Calgary to round out the first month.
That home and home, you might, that.
So in hindsight, it's not a very easy start to the year.
Oh no, it's not, because you have. I'm just counting here.
Ottawa,
1, 2 playoff teams in Washington and Pittsburgh, and then you have St. Louis, who's on the cusp. You have LA, you have Winnipeg and Calgary. So you're looking about 7 or 8 playoff teams.
Yeah, in a matter of 12 games, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean, and arguably you could say Chicago, because they're Chicago Blackhawks,
Yeah.
and they have a healthy Corey Crawford this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you never really know what you're going to get from Chicago. They are always a team that's going to hang around.
Yeah, okay, now we have to talk about the goalie situation before we forget.
Yeah.
Curtis McElhaney and
Calvin Pickard
have been claimed off waivers. Calvin Pickard went to the Flyers, and Curtis McElhaney went to the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
I would have... I think Kyle Dubas knew...
he knew
at least one of them was going to get claimed. I didn't think he... I think he was banking on
Pickard
to be sent down. I think so. Well,
and that's,
to be cleared.
You got to think of it this way. And as much as I'm very upset that Curtis McElhaney is gone, think about it this way: you have a 25-year-old in Garrett Sparks who's never had a real chance in the NHL. He put up ridiculous numbers in the AHL last year. Hear me out. Are you really okay with putting him on waivers and having him get lost like that and not even giving him a chance?
Well, you don't know if he's going to get lost like that. I feel like
you probably no. I don't think so. You put up those type of numbers in the AHL. You're on waivers. Yeah, exactly. But you're on waivers. Someone could just grab you and that's it. No problem. He's not making a lot of money.
A lot of good goalie. Listen, when it comes to sports, hockey, baseball, basketball, football, you ride with the hot hand. Now, this is kind of turning the clock completely, but what did the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do? They started Ryan Fitzpatrick in the second and third game because he had the hot hand.
Right.
He was great in the second game. In the third game, he struggled. With Curtis McElhaney having the hot hand, you should have kept him.
I agree. No, I totally agree. But Curtis McElhaney's my guy, and he should have been here.
And also, what Kyle Dubas is doing, I think it's more of a bias towards his Marlies.
Yeah.
Right? And what his Marlies have been doing, obviously, he sent up Justin Hall, traded Carrick. He has a bias towards him because he built that team.
Right.
Sent down McElhaney and Pickard, and then brought up the Calder-winning goalie and Garrett Sparks.
You won a Calder Cup. You put together one of the, if not the best season in AHL history as a goalie. I mean, those numbers they don't lie.
No.
Right. But what we've seen from Garrett Sparks, in very limited NHL experience, it hasn't been great.
Now, you have to realize, in Game 6 of the Finals in Calder Cup, he looked terrible.
He did. He was terrible.
So, going into Game 7, we didn't know what Garrett Sparks, me and you, or the fans were going to see. Were we going to see the Garrett Sparks of flopping around, not making any saves and looking terrible? Yeah. Or the Garrett Sparks like he was in that game? Amazing. Yep. I don't know, and I really don't think that his game is going to transition to the NHL.
I don't think so either. It's too floppy. It's stupid.
So with that being said, I don't think that this was the right move. I really don't. I'd rather Calvin Pickard or Curtis McElhaney over Garrett Sparks. Garrett Sparks has the more upside from those two, but it wasn't the right move.
No, I don't believe so.
And now who's the starting?
Because we were talking about on the last podcast that we think that Curtis McElhaney has that spot. And yeah, he had a bad preseason game against the Detroit Red Wings, but he had the Marlies playing in front of him. Exactly. So you can't really go off of that. Look, if I'm Curtis McElhaney, I'm angry.
I'm angry too.
Because he came over here and put his heart and soul into this team on that first year, and then had that amazing game against Pittsburgh in Game 81, got this team into the playoffs. And then last year, put career numbers up and gave this team like 12 wins.
I mean, to be fair, if you were Garrett Sparks, I'd be more mad because you stayed with this Leafs team, if you will, of the organization for 7 years now. You've been sent down to the AHL. This is his 4th year with the Marlies?
Yeah.
He had one stint with the Leafs, which was maybe 15 games
and that
or
was
so?
That was in the terrible times for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Exactly, with,
Eric Brewer.
The Marlies in front of him, pretty much.
Basically.
So, with the Leafs' defense getting better, it's not the greatest. He might be something, but I don't know if he is or not. Because with Garrett Sparks, you can either see Garrett Sparks that's amazing or nothing. Listen, he's like an Antoine Bibeau. Antoine Bibeau, when he played with the Marlies, he was phenomenal. Some games, in other games, he looked terrible.
Yeah. But, I mean, for the most part, Garrett Sparks throughout the season and in the playoffs was amazing, ideally. You know, with
and
numbers,
he's much younger than McElhaney with, 7-8 years? Yeah. 1 year younger than Picard.
I guess the one thing that made me a little frustrated is the fact that McElhaney has 1 year left on his deal. He'll be 36 at the end of it. I think that's when you let him go. Instead of waiting, put him on waivers here and losing him for nothing. I mean, that hurts.
It was the age, too. It was,
And then you look at Garrett Sparks, put up amazing AHL numbers, hasn't got a shot in the NHL, and he's only 25 years old, so you think teams would be like, yes, thank you very much.
And it wasn't the fact of not getting something for either those two goalies, because what could you really get for those two?
You can't get a whole lot. Calvin Picard, I think, was like a hit or miss. You were either going to...
A fifth or
he was
a
either
sixth?
going to the Marlies or he was getting claimed, and he wasn't coming back to the Leafs. I think that was the ideal situation for Calvin Picard, just because the goalie depth at the time was very good. With McElhaney, I was just hoping and praying no team was going to pick him up, and then he would be at the Marlies, so then just in case the Leafs need him, they'll call him up. But even then, he's going on to play with the Marlies. Does he want to be there? No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
So I don't even know if he'll play well down there.
Yeah.
He might, because he's Curtis McElhaney, and he's a very professional person, but my goodness.
Yeah, and with Scott Darling being injured, I knew that, Carolina's definitely going to pick up one of the two. I didn't know which one. You could see Curtis McElhaney back on waivers when Scott Darling gets back, because it's only a couple weeks. So that's the case. I don't think I know Carter Hart from the Flyers got sent down because he wasn't ready. So I don't know if any goalies will be back on waivers in Philly at all. That's going to be hard to say.
Don't be shocked if Curtis McElhaney's back in a Leaf uniform at some point.
Or Calvin Picard. We have no idea. Now, two signings. Jeff Glass is back with the Marlies. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes, he is. Played 15 games, I think it was, for the Chicago Blackhawks last year.
And
for depth goaltending.
Now get ready for this.
Here we go.
Justin Peters is signed to a tryout for the Marlies.
You can see how greasy the Marlies look right now. And then Casimir Kaskasuo is down there as well. So
James, go ahead, tell the story about Justin Peters against the game against Dallas. Do you remember that game?
Well, when the Capitals were down by...
So James is the Washington Capitals fan. That's the second team.
Yep.
Now, this was, 3 years ago?
Something like that, yeah. No, it was a little bit longer, probably.
Probably 4, yeah. Okay, so go on, tell the story.
Capitals were up, 4... Or they were down 4-0 at some point, and they started to crawl back, and they made it a 4-3 game, and we're like, wow, this is actually coming. Nah, Justin Peters gives up 4 more, and then it's it.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
It was terrible.
I don't know about Justin Peters. Listen, if you're on an AHL tryout...
AHL tryout.
Yeah, I mean, that just speaks for itself. I'd rather Casimir Kaskasuo than Justin Peters, but it's always good goaltending.
And I think Jeff Glass was a good signing, though. I think
me too.
I think I like the looks of that.
Well, who else do we have?
Like I said, Casimir Kaskasuo.
That's it.
That's it.
And
you have your 2 young drafted goalies, Belithier and Ian Scott.
Do you really want them still?
No, you don't. So that's just that. I think the last thing we're going to... Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, the last thing about the is that Sam Gagner has been loaned to the Marlies.
Yeah, from Vancouver Canucks. That was an interesting one.
Loaned. So I think what this means...
It was the same thing that happened with...
Casimir Kaskasuo. He was loaned to the Chicago Wolves for nothing. He was just loaned there, I guess for more playing time. So I love this. I think we should have claimed Sam Gagner off waivers, buried his contract in the minors, because he only has a year left, I'm pretty sure, at 3.5 or 4 mil.
Right.
And then he could have put up ridiculous numbers, or if an injury, you can sign him up, because he is still a pretty good player.
A borderline NHL player, basically.
I wouldn't say borderline. He put up 30 points last year.
Well, be put on waivers. There must have been something wrong.
I don't know why Vancouver even put him on waivers, but he is an NHL player. It's great that he's on the Marlies, though.
Yeah.
For leadership.
And the last thing, because we can't go a week without talking about it, William Nylander, obviously still not a Toronto Maple Leaf, but
the saga continues.
Chris Johnson on TSN or Sportsnet, I don't know where the heck he is, came out yesterday and said this. Now, if it's true, I don't know, but this is from him, so this is a quote. This is a direct quote from Chris Johnson.
Okay.
The Leafs are believed to be offering Nylander in the range of $6 million per year on a long-term contract. Okay.
Well, that we already knew.
Right. Well, he hopes to get something along the lines of the Pasternak deal of $6.7 million AAV over 6 years, or a bit above. End quote.
I think they should meet at 6.5. Give Nylander a little bit of... See, but that's the thing. You don't really need to give him the leverage because he wants to play more than you need him at this point.
And there was a quote from William Nylander. Was it this morning? An hour ago. In the end, I have to take care of myself and do what I and my agent thinks is right. Especially if I'm especially if it's about several years to come. I need to think long term. It's my own future it's about. And I get that.
If this was Dylan Larkin, we would give him the sun and the moon.
Yeah.
Because he's pretty much the only good forward on that team.
Right.
With William Nylander, we don't necessarily need him. Sure, it'd be nice to have him, but we don't necessarily need him with his forward depth. So he has to realize that we're not budging. Kyle Dubas is staying firm and great for him. Because we have to sign Marner. We have to sign Matthews.
And my question to you is...
Yeah.
With seeing this team in preseason and seeing them win game 1 of 82...
Yeah.
Are you that scared right now of not having William Nylander for right now?
No, because we don't have an injury. Our power plays look deadly without him. You have Tyler Ennis. You have Sam Gagner. I don't know if you can bring him up.
I don't know about
Okay,
this.
I'm just saying, though. You have Andreas Janssen. You have Kasperi Kapanen. Yep. You have Josh Levo. You have all these forwards who can come up and produce. You don't need William Nylander.
And honestly, I think that's exactly what Kyle Dubas is thinking.
Listen,
he's like, look, we don't need you right now. You want to take your time and have this price drop for you? Go right ahead.
Exactly. I wouldn't be surprised if Dubas tells Nylander, listen, I'm done talking to you about this. If you want to make the deal happen, you call me back and you agree on 6x6 or 6x7, whatever, and I'll hang up the phone. And the deal's done.
Or even 6.5, I think, at this point. Because 6.5 is still not all that bad.
It's not, okay, fine. It's not that bad. But there's...
But continuously hearing that Nylander's asking for 8 and the Leafs are asking for 6, and then hearing that quote that Nylander's want is 6.67, does that mean that window is dropping for William Nylander? That money
it has
dropping?
to be.
Well, of course it has to be, right?
He's not worth over $7 million.
Plus, the season is starting, and he is losing money by the game.
Yes.
By the day. Really.
Exactly. And he's, like you said,
so
perfectly.
as much as his agent is trying to do the best for him, he's also now hurting William Nylander.
I really think Kyle Dubas should just say, listen, you call me back when you want to make the deal. It's firm at 6.5, 6, whatever.
He's just got to stay back where he is and let William Nylander, his agent, crack under pressure, basically, in a sense.
And his father, too, because his father is a big part in this, and that is just,
And put into perspective, if you're asking for 6 years at $6.5 million, he'll be 28 at the end of that. He's going to get more than that after that.
Right, exactly.
So I'm not saying that this is the end of his contract times, is this. No. Same with Kadri and Morgan Riley. They'll be making more than 4.5, 5.
Well, when Kadri he has what, 3 or 4 more years left?
Like
I think he has 3 more years left, 30. So I don't know. That's arguably he's going to get a bigger payday. But for Morgan Riley and for, like you said, Nylander, they will be making a bigger payday. So this isn't going to be your only payday. And what's the difference between 6 and 7 mil? $1 mil difference? Come on.
And plus, you'll be making north 7 in that next contract.
And endorsements. Listen, if you make a commercial for...
He already has a commercial out. I saw it yesterday.
Really?
I forgot what it was about, but it was him and Johnny Gaudreau. Coincidence? Same agent.
Yeah.
In a commercial together, sitting in the dress. I forgot what the commercial was about.
You could make a commercial about a bandage, and you would make millions.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right?
I mean...
You can make it, you'd be like, hi, I'm William Nylander, and if you scrape your knee... buy my bandage, and he just puts it on his knee.
Yeah, like there's millions of dollars right
there. I would buy it.
Yeah,
if William Nylander buys the same bandage as me, I'm buying it.
Of course. Why wouldn't I?
I'm buying the same bandage as him.
Yeah.
Good.
But the funny thing is about William Nylander's situation, and like I just said about the whole fact of, we're not in dire need of him right now.
No,
as much as we love William Nylander, and I have his flipping jersey, and I want him back as soon as he can.
Yeah, you're getting tripped on your live stream there a little bit.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, he'll re-sign, and that's that. And the Leafs won anyway, so it doesn't really matter. If you guys hear that, it's the garbage truck going by, so we apologize.
Yeah, for the second time.
First time was just before the pod.
But was that a garbage truck or the Montreal Canadiens?
Okay, they play pretty well.
No.
Is that the what? You could also say the frickin' Boston Bruins.
Or yeah.
Losing 7-0 to the Capitals last night, and Marchand being a little pain in the rear he is, not liking a celebration from Lars Eller, and then trying to fight him. Yeah, I mean you go from licking people to that. I mean, way to go, Brad Marchand. Game 1 of 82, and you're already starting stuff.
So again, the next game is going to be on Saturday.
Yep.
And that should be fun, but we can't take anything for granted.
Nope.
Because the Ottawa Senators are still a team like Pierre Dorian.
Didn't Brady Tkachuk not make the
No. He's out with an injury with a pulled groin.
Right. So I don't even know if he'll be playing for game 2. He might be.
Maybe.
But
pulled groin, usually you're out maybe a couple days.
Well, a couple days. I mean,
I
don't know. It's
already Thursday.
But if that's the case, they don't have Brady Tkachuk. That means they don't have Brady Tkachuk, Erik Karlsson, Mike Hoffman. You look at all the players we faced last year.
You
in
can
Ottawa.
argue that Ottawa's forwards are better than Montreal's, or about the same.
Depth-wise, I don't know. The Montreal played hard last night with a lot of their young forwards, but Ottawa
could play hard.
They have Mark Stone.
They have Matt Duchene.
Okay.
They have Bobby Ryan, the ghost of Bobby Ryan. They have Ryan DeZingle. I'm just saying, their forward core pretty similar to Montreal.
Okay, they don't have Carey Price.
No, they don't have Carey Price.
They don't have any type of defenseman whatsoever.
Besides
Cody
Chabot.
Ceci and Thomas Chabot.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark Burwicki. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the man himself. I love Mark Burwicki, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's a stud. You look at that guy, that's old-time hockey there.
Now that is a hockey player.
If
you just look at him,
he's bald, got no teeth in his head.
And he has an overbite.
Exactly. That's a hockey player in my eyes. I love it.
Right.
We're going to leave it on that. Mark Burwicki's overbite and his amazing...
Underbite. Sorry, underbite.
Oh, okay. Underbite.
It's like...
Yeah, it's a big difference, right? But that's a hockey player right there, Mark Burwicki. Gotta love him. So now we're gonna flip over to the hard court.
The hard court.
Yeah, for the Toronto Raptors. And their preseason is continuing to go.
You mean the court hard? Or
what?
Hard court?
Yeah. From the ice.
The hardwood.
Hard court. Whatever the heck you want to say. Whatever.
Yeah.
Would you say court hard?
Hard court.
Okay, you know what? This is getting less professional as we go, but it doesn't even matter.
We're the TL Sports Talk podcast. We bring you the great entertainment every week.
Yeah, we bring a bunch of random stuff happens on the podcast, like hearing a garbage truck and hearing the blinds go crazy. But you know what? That's all the fun.
And James passing gas sometimes too.
That was you yesterday. That was you last week. If you guys heard that right at the end of the podcast, Evan thought it would rip, and then he went quiet after because he was dying of laughter. But anyways, the Toronto Raptors guys have played 2 of their first 4 preseason games. And game 2 against the Utah Jazz technically didn't go so well as they lost by 15, 105-90. But Lowry and Kawhi Leonard did not play after the first half.
Would you expect that?
Raptors were up by 9 at the half when they left, and then they came back. And their starters played against the bench mob, and the bench didn't do that well at all.
Well, AKA they're called the bench mob for a reason.
They play benches. They play against the other bench.
Right.
But they went on a crazy 16-0 run, and at one point they were up by 15 in the third quarter. It was a ridiculous run. And then they bring back JV out there. They bring back Serge and CJ Miles. Raptors cut it down to 5.
Yeah.
So tells you what the starters actually came in and did. And then JV, CJ, and Serge Ibaka hung it up for the night after the third quarter, and then they run it back up to 15 to end the game.
So did Utah start any of their? I'm guessing
almost all of them. Donovan Mitchell played, Rubio played, Joe Ingles, Derek Favors, Rudy Gobert. Everybody played.
Okay, so
anybody who didn't play, Dante Exum, I think he's still hurt though, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, did you see? I think it was Jay Crowder. That was it.
With Lowry,
Kawhi Leonard, little pump fake, and then
that was beautiful. Gets the and one as well.
That was good.
My god, that was beautiful.
Is that who I think it is?
Kepudo, whatever the heck his name is. First round, 6th overall pick
from
by the
Oakland.
Golden State Warriors. Wow.
That's shocking. That is shocking.
But yeah, most of their players played. Grayson Allen played, only 6 points in his 20 minutes, 2 of 9 shooting. Wasn't all that great. Alec Burks as well. Jay Crowder. But look, past that starting lineup, their team is...
Like we said before on this podcast, and with every media source, this is Kawhi Leonard's team.
Yep.
You run the offense through Lowry, and the leadership is from Lowry, but other than that, everybody knows, and I think even Lowry knows.
But he should.
He knows, but I don't think he's going to say it.
No,
This is Kawhi Leonard's team.
Right. It's,
and Nick Nurse.
Yeah, absolutely. But Kawhi Leonard in 18 minutes had 17 points and 5 rebounds on 6 of 12 shooting.
So what else are you going to ask for
his
him?
Free throw shooting has been really off, though. He only shot 50% in this game, 4 of 8, and then 6 of 11 in the first game.
And plus, from an elite superstar, you want good free-throw shooting.
Right.
That's just how it is.
But he was fantastic in the first game. JV in 21 minutes, 18 points, 9 rebounds. He was a beast out there against Rudy Gobert. And Siakam went 10 and 9 in 26 minutes. I thought he was pretty good.
That's good.
Shot 4 of 8 and 1 of 3 from 3. He was pretty good there. But everybody else, guys, the bench mob didn't do too well. As you can see, DeLon.
Well, like you said, they were playing against starters.
Norman Powell was a minus 20 on the floor. Not good at all. But you got to look at this as it is. It's preseason, and the bench mob was playing against their starters: Ingles, Favors, Gobert, Rubio, and Mitchell. Look at the Raptors starters. The most guy who played, Jonas Valanciunas, 21 minutes.
So you have CJ Miles at 20, you have JV at 21, you have Lowry at 18, you have Collinsworth, I don't know who that is.
He just started
Pascal Siakam at 26, DeLon Wright at 24 minutes.
See, the thing is, I think Collinsworth is actually, he's from there, if I'm not mistaken. He's from Utah. That's why they wanted him to start in Utah. They wanted him. It's preseason. What does it matter?
I get it, but what does it matter if he starts against his home? I don't know. I would rather see somebody else start over him.
Why not? Doesn't matter. The other guy's played more than him anyways. He only played 11 minutes. He played.
I'd rather Lorenzo Brown starting over him. I mean, it's a good story, but it's preseason, man. Like,
It's preseason. You want to see what the guy's got. You sign him to a deal. You want to see what he's got.
How old is he?
I think I have no idea, to be honest. 27, so he's not really anything too young or
that's why
anything.
they started him.
But look, 21 minutes. JV played like you said. 20 for CJ, 18 for Kawhi, 18 for Lowry, and obviously only 11.
18 and 9 for JV.
In
this
21
game,
minutes.
In last game, he played.
He's been very good.
Yeah, he's been.
I'm telling you, Nick Nurse is going to let him go, and he's going to do
Hopefully, it's about time that he breaks out of that shell.
All right, and then you go to Utah. Joe Ingles, 24 minutes. Derek Favors, 22 minutes. Gobert, 26. Rubio, 25. Donovan Mitchell, 25 minutes. And Grayson Allen and Alec Burks, their main two bench guys, both played 20 as well. So it looks right there that most of their players were top heavy. They played most of their starters for the least starter. The starter who played the least amount of time was Derek Favors at 22 minutes, and the most starter the Raptors had was JV at 21.
Now, do you think this was a good test for the bench and they failed?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I didn't really like how the bench played in this game. The defense was sloppy and they weren't making their shots.
And if we have the quote-unquote best bench in the league, I would think that they can, go against stars and put up a good fight. This wasn't a good fight. They lost by 15.
Yeah. And
so I think they have to step up.
You could say that it's preseason and move on from it.
And Utah is a good playoff team.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going to say. It's preseason and you move on. That's really all we can do. I know the Raptors play a Melbourne, Australian team coming up very shortly.
Now, if we lose against them?
Okay, well, no, that's not.
Wait, is this?
I don't know when.
This is the Australian national team. I guess I don't have Patty Mills or Joe Ingles.
Right. I don't know. No, it's Melbourne. It's like their league team.
Oh.
So I don't really know what's going to happen over there in that game. But, I mean, we've seen all kinds of crazy things. Utah played the Wildcats, some random team, and they crushed them as expected. So I don't know why you do
I think
that
actually the Brooklyn Nets played I think it was the Shanghai Ducks.
Yes. Yeah, they did. And that's...
Didn't Brooklyn lose that?
I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea what happened in that game.
Listen, if the Brooklyn Nets lost against the Shanghai Ducks team...
Good for Shanghai.
Yeah.
But, I mean, not very good for the Brooklyn Nets, that's for darn sure. But the next actual preseason game for the Toronto Raptors is on Wednesday.
I guess look who it is.
Brooklyn Nets. 7 o'clock tip-off in Montreal, actually, at the Bell Center.
Oh, wow.
They're doing their Canada tour. They played in Vancouver in Game 1. They go down to Utah, and they head to Brooklyn.
So it's Brooklyn and then who else?
New Orleans. The Pelicans down in New Orleans, I think it is, on a back-to-back. That's crazy. I know, but it's a back-to-back.
Oh, from Montreal all the way to New Orleans?
Yeah, on a back-to-back.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they have one more, I think?
No,
that's it.
Cleveland.
And then
there's 4.
Cleveland on the 17th.
Right.
So they have the back-to-back, and that's it.
So let's just get into it right now. The Jimmy Butler, because we didn't really talk about it last podcast a little bit. The Houston Rockets are making an aggressive push for Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
He's from Houston, I guess he's from Houston, a Houston native.
Yeah.
What could you see going to the Wolves?
The fact that the fact that him re-signing is probably not gonna happen.
Well, because of the cap?
Exactly.
And they already have. Listen, if they didn't have Melo, I could see him going there.
Yeah, they already have Melo. They already have James Harden, Chris Paul, already guys like that. And
but who could you see?
They have Bruno. Houston has Bruno. Look at that.
Oh,
Houston Rockets, Bruno Caboclo. He played one preseason game in 10 minutes. He had 6 points, 3 boards, 2 assists, a steal, 2 blocks on 1 of 2 or 3. It's a preseason
first
game.
Rounder.
It's a preseason game in 10 minutes. It's tough to say.
Remember his debut, eh?
Yeah, he went crazy in that game. But, I mean, you look
Who could you see going the other way, though?
It's so tough because the
You could see maybe Brandon Knight for salary.
Maybe.
And then
Eric Gordon, I think, might be one piece that goes back.
And then maybe like a Michael Carter-Williams in a first rounder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have to put in their first.
Getting Jimmy Butler for that, because then your bench is going to be.
The Wolves have to trade Jimmy Butler.
Right. No, I do agree with that. Because the trade request has been leaked and all this is it's a gong show.
Houston time to win is now. The Houston Rockets time to win is now. So why not add Jimmy Butler to your team?
Oh, for sure. I mean, and Eric Gordon is still a very good player, so that's why I'm saying for the T-Wolves that could really help your team out. He's only 29 years of age too, so he's still got
same age as Jimmy Butler.
Right, he's still got some miles on him.
Is that no, it's not Rudy Gay. I thought it was for a sec.
No. Rudy Gay's on the Spurs.
The Spurs, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Gerald Green. Actually, who is that? Actually, let's take a look here. Rob Gray.
I thought those were
the point guard out of
Rob
Houston.
Gay.
Out of Houston, went to school at Houston, and he's from Forest City, North Carolina. There you go. Just a little shout out there. Why not?
To Rob Gray. Hopefully you're listening to our podcast.
Yeah.
But the only players I could really see them, like I said, Brandon Knight for the salary. You got Michael Carter-Williams, a first, maybe Eric Gordon.
Well, I mean, if you're because what can Michael Carter-Williams really do for the Timberwolves? What could, like you said, for Cap, Brandon Knight. The first round pick's nice, but it's for Houston, so it's going to be a bottom pick.
It's still a first, though.
It's still going to be a bottom pick.
Right.
And you're probably going to have to give up Eric Gordon.
Yeah.
Because look at the Raptors for Kawhi Leonard. I know Jimmy Butler's not Kawhi Leonard, but you had to give up DeMar DeRozan and a protected first and Jakob Poeltl.
Yeah. Well, for Jimmy Butler, they had to have traded him because he's not going to report to any of the preseason games. I don't know if he's even playing.
But neither was Kawhi Leonard. He wasn't going to be back with the Spurs.
Well, like I said,
they had to trade him
the gap is, it's not huge, but it is big.
Right. But I'm saying you can't give up Michael Carter-Williams, Brandon Knight, and their first round pick because it's not going to.
No, not theirs, yours.
I know, as in a late first round pick. It won't happen.
And I'm saying we got Eric Gordon.
It'll have to be Eric Gordon
Williams.
As well. Yeah, you said maybe Eric Gordon, and I'm like, you probably have to give up Eric Gordon.
Brandon Knight and I guess Gordon in a first, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you might have to throw in Michael Carter-Williams.
I don't want the Raptors to trade for him. That'd be. At this point, we have a franchise guy.
Look, great. And that's your shooting guard would be Jimmy Butler.
And I don't know if he's that good in the locker room, Jimmy Butler.
Well, I mean, he wants out of a really good young Timberwolves team.
But we don't know the sides of the story.
No, we really don't. We
can't really speculate on that front.
It's hard to say. Now if you're a Chicago Bulls fan, you're loving this.
Yeah.
Because you trade him to the Timberwolves, and a lot of fans are mad, and he's going to go do really well with the Timberwolves. They make the playoffs. They get knocked out in the first round, obviously, but they make the playoffs, and they're on the right ropes.
Actually, I like.
And you got Zach LaVine.
Zach LaVine's not going to stay, though. I don't think. I think he opted out, and he's going to be a UFA.
This year or the end of this year?
This year.
Like right now? Or?
No, not right now. Sorry, next year. He opted out of his deal. He was an RFA, and he didn't sign the qualifying offer. I'm pretty sure.
He's playing preseason. So.
Or was it he signed the qualifying offer, but not for long term? I don't know. I just know that there was something about him not.
We're just looking things up here. There's never any question about keeping LaVine. We always knew Zach would be with the Bulls. So
well, yeah, obviously they want Zach to be with the Bulls, but does Zach want to be with the Bulls? Bulls management wants him, but does
Zach LaVine ready to prove doubters of $78 million deal wrong?
Oh, so we did.
I know
sign.
what I'm worth. So he did sign the 4-year deal.
Oh, okay.
So
my bad.
You have Zach LaVine. You got Chris Dunn in that deal. Is there anybody else they got?
Oh, they have. Who's that guy?
Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen was the draft pick they got.
No, they got somebody in the last year's draft. Oh, is this?
Yeah, Wendell Carter Jr.
And he could be possibly rookie of the year.
The 6'10" center. But then you had a Jabari Parker in the offseason. But Lauri Markkanen, if I'm not mistaken, was the first round 7th pick from the Bulls. So you got Markkanen,
or from the T-Wolves, you mean?
Or sorry, the Bulls got that. So you have Lauri Markkanen, Zach LaVine, and Chris Dunn, all for Jimmy Butler.
Who's not
even going to re-sign in Minnesota.
No, he's not, but it depends what they get for Jimmy Butler, Minnesota.
Whether you do or not, Lauri Markkanen had an amazing year last season in his rookie year. He's only 21 years old. We know what Zach LaVine can do. He's fantastic. And Chris Dunn had a really good end to his season last year. In his 2 preseason games, he's been in double figures.
Oh.
He's been very, very good.
I thought that was John Salmon's first second.
No, Jerome Sampson. Jakar Sampson. Okay, well, 25-year-old out of Cleveland, Ohio.
It's going to be more pains. It's going to be more growing pains for the Chicago Bulls.
Right, but they have a very good core. A very good young core.
They were kind of like the Boston Celtics before they got good when they just drafted Marcus Smart, and they had a few guys or whatever, and then they made that trade from Brooklyn. Kind of the same thing where they have a lot of young prospects, but they're not looking. I mean, maybe a dark horse.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Right?
I mean, I really do believe the Chicago Bulls are going to be very, very good very soon.
Just
because
debatably.
I don't know. I really like their young pieces.
You still have a pretty strong East where I think Charlotte, I don't know if Kemba Walker's going to stay with the Charlotte Hornets.
I don't think so. I really don't believe so. He's getting, what, he's like 20...
Who else do they have?
They don't have anything. Nicholas Batum? Who they draft this year, actually? Well, Malik Monk's there. Who else? Miles Bridges. They added Miles Bridges.
They got Bismack Biyombo.
He's had a really good preseason as Miles Bridges. Okay. Look at that. Wow. He's had a very good preseason on pretty good shooting overall.
I know they're willing to pay Kemba Walker, but really, I mean...
Well, you look at Kemba, and...
he's been with his organization for his entire career.
He's 28 now.
So I think it's time kind of to... I mean, if I was him, I'd cut ties and then go to a team that actually has a future. I'm not saying the Charlotte Hornets don't have a future, but they have, one good prospect, maybe two.
And Miles Bridges, Malik Monk, but you don't even know what you're going to get in Malik Monk, really. So, and Nicholas Batum's kind of, I don't know, ever since he left the Portland Trail Blazers, haven't heard much about him. Then again, you haven't heard much from Charlotte anyways, so it's hard to get a gist on how players have done.
So quickly, I know it's the preseason. Are you surprised about the Knicks starting 2-0?
It's 2-0. It's really...
I said they're making the playoffs this year.
Well, it's 2-0 in preseason. It's kind of hard to say playoffs right now.
Now, James Price, your hot take for this year. Hot take. Hot take for the NBA this year. Meaning that something that is surprising but you think is going to happen. A hot take.
I think if anything, you could arguably say the Knicks are going to make the playoffs. If that's the hot take from it. See, I don't know.
Well, that's my hot take. Can't really steal mine.
No, I know. I'm not going to.
Out of the East and the West. So surprises on maybe Rookie of the Year, somebody,
It would not surprise me if Miles Bridges takes the Rookie of the Year. I don't know what it is.
Over Luka Doncic?
Man, that kid is damn good in Dallas, man. That kid is
I'm surprised he didn't go first overall.
I really am.
He was the MVP for the EuroLeague when he was 17.
Yep.
And he was, fourth overall?
He's 19 years old. He went first round, third overall.
He's looked great in the preseason.
And
he's played, one game?
I can't believe the Hawks traded that pick.
Yeah, for a guy that's more crowd-friendly, if you will.
Yeah, I guess.
You can market the team around Trae Young better than you can Luka Doncic. But as a player, I agree with you.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, if you're looking at name and what he's...
So your one hot take is going to be what?
Luka Doncic getting Rookie of the Year.
That's not really a hot take. I mean, you kind of expect... Okay.
You expect him to win Rookie of the Year?
A hot take would be like, I don't know, the Philadelphia 76ers sliding out of the playoffs.
Okay, well, they won't. So that's not going to happen.
That's a hot take.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen, so that's just that.
So your hot take is Luka Doncic winning
I think the Utah Jazz might not be as good as they were last year.
Okay.
I mean, I love the looks of Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Ricky Rubio's looked great. Rudy Gobert obviously won Defensive Player of the Year. But as we talked about in the opening of the Raptors segment here, their bench isn't really any good.
Yeah.
I mean, like Grayson Allen has looked all right in preseason, but you put him up against the healthy, really good teams in the West, like Houston, like Golden State, like the Oklahoma City Thunder, like all these really good teams.
So you think they're going to be one-and-done team the first round and out? You think Mitchell's going to slide back a little bit?
I don't know, man. Donovan Mitchell is still a freak of nature.
But it was one good year.
Yeah, I do agree, but I don't think it's harder in basketball in my eyes to kind of slip off because when you find your shot and you find your rhythm and all that stuff, you keep it rolling. And he wasn't just he didn't just do that for a 20-game span. Yeah. He did that for basically the entire year.
So your hot take is Utah missing the playoffs or just getting out of the first round?
They won't make it out of the first round.
Okay, so
I just feel like
they're
not gonna have a great. I think Denver's a better team. I think they have I think the Denver Nuggets have a much better core.
New logo too.
They have a much better core. I love the looks of Will Barton. You look at Jamal Murray had a great rookie season. They added Isaiah Thomas to the team. Nikola Jokic is fantastic. Paul Millsap's been a stud. They add Michael Porter Jr. In the draft.
A guy who slipped because of his injuries.
Right, and. Those guys, I mean, Denver really came on there late in the year for that playoff push.
They did. They were, 10th or 9th?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
I think they were 9th because the Clippers were right there or something. I'm not sure exactly who.
So Utah is going to...
I think Denver's going to be ahead of Utah. It's a hot take.
That's your hot take. My hot take, Knicks are going to make the playoffs. You heard it here first.
Okay.
What's your hot take for hockey, since we're in the hot takes?
Oh, that's just the Nylander.
That scared me.
Some William Nylander thing just popped up here.
That was weird. I said hockey and that randomly popped up.
Yep. Yeah, so this is basically the quote I heard earlier.
Okay, so hot take for hockey.
I'm just going to go to hockey here real quick before we wrap it up and get into the baseball segment of the podcast. Let's go here. Okay, so we have the Montreal Canadiens. Let's go to divisions here. Okay, I got one. The Boston Bruins will miss the playoffs.
Wow. With the aging core, everything.
Okay. With an unhealthy Charlie McAvoy's been hurt lately. And he was rough last year. Like
Bergeron has always had injuries issue. Krejci's not the same player like he was.
Torrey Krug's out for the first 3 weeks of the season.
Rask
looked absolutely terrible last night. It's the first game of the season. I understand that, and they had a terrible start to the year last season. But are they really going to bank on a miracle story like they had last year, as in going on some ridiculous run to end the season? Are you really looking forward to that again? Boston Bruins were terrible for the first half of the year, and then turned it on like crazy to end the season. You can't expect that same thing to happen.
So with Boston out, who do you have in?
Are we talking wild card or division?
Wild card. Let's just say wild card.
Wild card team that
like that can take Boston's place.
If we're talking divisional spot.
Oh, divisional spot, I guess. Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if Florida or Buffalo. Cause look, I know it's probably a far stretch.
Yeah.
It's a far stretch, but look, Florida has continuously. You can't say they continually got better, but they were not healthy a lot last year.
Yeah.
You look at Barkov continuing to improve. Nick Bjugstad is going to be continuously a great player. They added Troy Brouwer in the offseason, who's been good. They had Mike Hoffman in the offseason. Jonathan Huberdeau. Jared McCann's going to have another good rookie season. Vincent Trocheck. They've got some good players, but it can Aaron Ekblad obviously have a better season. And Roberto Luongo, can he stay healthy? So when a healthy Luongo and a good defense core, that team.
So Florida makes it and Boston misses it. That's what you're saying.
Florida or Buffalo? Because I don't really know what the heck I'm going to see from Buffalo this year.
Okay. For me,
what's your hot take?
I'm gonna say Rasmus Dahlin is not going to win the Calder. It's going to be Andrei Svechnikov.
I can agree with that. You don't think it's going to be Kotkaniemi? You think you haven't seen enough of him yet?
He's looked good, but I don't think people realize how good Andrei Svechnikov is. He's a big winner.
Red Wings?
Hurricanes.
On the Hurricanes.
No, not Evgeny.
Oh, see,
Andre.
Oh my God, there's too many.
I know. I think he's going to win the. And also with that, I think Rasmus Dahlin is going to kind of disappoint. He's still going to have a good year, but he's going to disappoint a little bit, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, there you go. There's your hot take.
There you go. So let's move on to baseball. A quick baseball segment first. Let's talk about baseball postseason is here. Do you want to go to, I guess, the tiebreak games first? We can talk about that.
Yeah, game 163.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm just going to look up some Blue Jays stuff real quick before we get things going here.
Okay. Well, if you do that.
Yeah, you do that. You get that going.
So the first, I guess, tiebreak game would be the Rockies versus the Cubs.
No, that was that.
No.
That's the Wild
Brewers versus Cubs.
Right. That was the tiebreaker game.
Right.
Yeah.
So that means, and obviously the Cubs lost, so they had to face the wild card game.
Right.
Okay, so the Cubs lost against the Brewers. The Brewers are now facing the winner of either the Cubs or the Rockies. Now we know that game went into 13 innings, and
Crazy.
The Cubs lost. I think I heard that the bases were loaded or they had 2 men on, and they were just swinging for the fences. They didn't. It looked like they wanted to get a home run.
Okay, so let's go all the way back here. All right, let's go to game 163 to get into the playoffs.
Okay.
Milwaukee was playing the Cubs. And so the winner of that, and that game right there was massive. And that right there, I think, was the end of the Cubs season. As much as they put a great fight in the wild card game, that right there was the end for me. Because the winner of that game, which ended up being Milwaukee, has home field the entire National League.
Yeah.
So whenever until the World Series, the Milwaukee Brewers have the home field. But in the loser, had to play in the wild card game, and then you pretty much don't have home field the entire playoffs.
Is this new? Is this the first time this has happened?
I don't think it's the first time, but I think it's the first time
in a while.
It's the first time in a while that 2 teams have had to do it.
And then you obviously have the Rockies versus the Dodgers, and the Dodgers.
So with that Milwaukee win, they face the winner of the wild card game, which was Chicago, and the loser of the Dodgers and the Rockies.
And the Rockies lost, so then they faced the Cubs, and
that was in that. So that right there set up the wild card games.
Right.
Chicago was playing the Rockies in Chicago, and the Rockies with a huge guys. This is postseason baseball when guys that you never expect to do anything come up huge. 13th inning, 2 on, 2 out. You have Tony Walters at the dish, a backup catcher. His career batting average is 170. Yeah. Anything over 250 is good.
Yeah.
He's hitting 170 for his career, and he gets a clutch 2-out base hit in the 13th inning in a wild card game. You never expect it.
No, you
but
didn't.
That's what happens in baseball. The craziest things happen, right? And the Chicago Cubs are eliminated. And I love it.
I don't know why you hate the Chicago Cubs so much.
I don't hate them. I don't hate them, but I just don't like the fan base thinking, oh, we're the Cubs. We won the World Series. We won this. We're the best. We got this player. And then you lose in the wild card game.
Well,
they had 2 opportunities to get to the division, the NLDS, and they lost both games.
And if I'm not mistaken, their last 4 games of the regular season were against under 500 teams. They faced the Pirates, the White Sox, I think. I was talking to a friend about this at work.
They were playing the Cardinals.
No, the Cardinals, but the other games.
They played the... let's go back here. This is all in March. They got to go all the way down here. They played the Cardinals, Pirates, and then White Sox. Now, they won the series 2-1 against the White Sox. They split the series 2 games apiece against the Pirates. That arguably you could say could be the difference maker. And they won the series against the St. Louis Cardinals. They arguably didn't play terrible.
I understand that, but for the Pirates, you got to take 3 out of at least 3 games out of that. Come on.
Yeah, you definitely want to take 3 of 4, and if that's the case, then the whole season changes differently. But then you look at the Rockies, and they had one heroic run. They were pretty much, I wouldn't say down and out of the playoffs, but they won 12-0 in their final game against the Washington Nationals. It tells you how bad they wanted it. But then they lost 12-2 the day before. They won that series, but then they swept the Phillies in a 4-game series. They swept the Arizona Diamondbacks in a 3-game set. So and then they got swept by the Dodgers before. But bottom line, going into that final series against the Washington Nationals, they won 10 of their last 11 games.
They won it more than anyone. No, this is the first postseason, I guess, baseball in 7-8 years for the Rockies.
Yeah, since Troy Tulowitzki was there.
Yeah. So I mean, it's great for Colorado to get back inside the postseason.
Yeah, it really is. So there you go. That's the end of the line for the Chicago Cubs. And the other wild card game happened yesterday, and the New York Yankees did as everyone expected.
It was a close game in the. It was 2-0 for the longest time.
2-0 until the 4th, but then they blew it open. And the thing about that game was the Oakland A's barely got anything going against what's his face, Luis Severino. They had really nothing going. 4 innings, he only got 2 hits, walked 4. Only reason they had any opportunities, and struck out 7. They had a couple chances with bases loaded, 2 on and nobody out. Couldn't catch anything.
Are you really surprised?
No, but I was hopeful.
We were all hopeful for Oakland. I wanted the Oakland A's to win the World Series out of any
team. And I got to admit, and I think I can speak for every single Blue Jays fan, I want someone from the National League to win the World Series, period.
Because now...
You look at the American League, and with that win, the New York Yankees, so the playoffs are set, the ALDSs are set. So you look at the National League. Colorado, a team who hasn't been there in quite a while, and they got the young team going. I'm like, that's a team I like to watch. Milwaukee Brewers... Again, a team that hasn't really been there in a while, went through a little rebuild. They got some Christian Yelich last year, who's an MVP candidate, who I think is going to win the MVP. And I love that story.
Okay.
Problem is they're facing each other. Atlanta Braves, obviously, rebuild, have a young core. They're building up. And the Dodgers, look, they didn't win last year.
I mean, I don't think they've won in what?
They haven't won for a little while, that's for darn sure. They made it to the World Series last year.
So any team that you would want to...
I would prefer any team other than the Dodgers. But even if they got there...
I would want to see the Dodgers win. Why? Because they're a big market. They haven't won in a while.
They're a big market and they have money. It doesn't really matter. Like, would you rather see the Red Sox win? No.
The Red Sox are different because they've won. They were a dynasty in the 2000s.
Yeah. Okay. You could say right? Sure, whatever. But the Dodgers, they're always going to be a team that's always going to be there. They've won the division 8 years in a row. Tells you right there. You know, when you win the division,
with arguably the best pitcher in Kershaw.
Yeah. So I mean, they're always a team that's going to be there. That's why I kind of want a different face. So that's why with 3 of those 4 teams, I would love to see one of them move on. And then you go.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Out of these 4 teams, who would you want to be in the World Series?
Either Colorado or Milwaukee.
Who? I would want to see Atlanta. The Braves have been terrible. They have a great rookie.
They'll be fine. I'm not. The
Oh,
Braves
so you're saying that these two teams won't be fine?
What? I'm saying the Braves will be fine.
Fine. Why?
As in the next year,
so
years
these
to come,
2 teams won't be fine?
I don't know. I have no idea. It could be a Cinderella story. But for the Braves, they have a beautiful young core
Okay.
coming up, and they're going to be good for many years.
Okay.
I'm not worried about them. If they go on, great. All the power to them. I hope they do well. But with Milwaukee and Colorado, look, as Jays fans, Sungwon Oh is on the Rockies. So if you're trying to look at it that from that perspective.
If you want
and
to.
I love the looks of
Long-time Blue
Nolan
Jays
Arenado.
Sungwon Oh.
A long time, half a season. But
Who would you want?
Curtis Granderson is on the Brewers, and he's obviously a great guy.
Long-time Blue Jay as well.
Yeah, half a year again. There you go. But I would love to see the Milwaukee Brewers.
Really? Okay. Now, do they still do that thing with the mascot how he slides down the slide?
Damn right he does. I love that. That mascot's amazing. He's fantastic.
Was that like an elephant or?
Honestly, he's got some weird mustache going on. I don't know what he's all about, but I love their mascot.
The pizza man from Greco's.
That's what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
But then you go to the ALDS, and it's just a mess. Cleveland, they always win their division. Houston won the World Series last year. Yankees in Boston, I've seen enough of them as Jays fans.
Okay, so out of Cleveland and Houston, who would you want?
I don't know. You have Edwin and Donaldson on the one team, which
And you have
as much as-
Osuna on the other.
right. And then you have the Yankees in Boston.
Houston, I would like to see because Cleveland has just been such a hatred for them because they take all of our guys. But then again, like you want to see JD get a World Series, did you not?
I don't know if I do, man. It would be so much hard. It's like the Phil Kessel trade to the Leafs.
Yeah.
And everything. I mean,
Okay, so let's just start off with Cleveland versus Houston. Who would you want to see? Who do you think and who would you want to see?
I'd like to see Cleveland, but I'm pretty sure Houston's going to win.
Okay, so Houston. Now, out of the Yankees and the Red Sox, think or hope. Personally,
Who do I want?
yeah.
Red Sox fans are complete, you know what?
Yankees fans aren't bad, to be
They're
honest.
pretty bad. They're pretty bad.
Really?
Those two teams are pretty bad fans.
I would think-
As in bad fans, as in, like, they're passionate
towards-
to the extent of if anybody says anything, you would never hear the end of it, and you will get eaten alive.
I think that Yankees fans towards us Blue Jay fans were pretty good. Red Sox fans,
Red Sox
especially
fans
on your videos. I know there were some Red Sox fans that were all Bruins,
If anything,
Red Sox, and Celtics.
I'd probably pick the Yankees that I would want, and the winner of the Houston-Cleveland series to kind of beat the Yankees in a sense.
But you think the Red Sox because they're just so good.
Problem: the Red Sox suck in the playoffs. Their
Well-
last 2 years, they've won the division both times.
Is that mainly David Price?
Chris
blowing
Sale
it?
has been atrocious in the playoffs. I mean, then again, he only
I mean,
played
you have
last.
Chris Porcello too. So
Rick Porcello?
Rick Porcello, sorry.
Yeah, but he hasn't had a good year. I mean, I don't think so. The Jays, once facing him, torched him up a billion times, and it's crazy. ERA 4.28.
Oh, okay, so he really fell off.
He really did fall off near the end of the year. I mean, he wasn't all that great for me.
So you want the Yankees, but you think the Red Sox.
I honestly think the Yankees. The Red Sox have not proven to me whatsoever that they can be a playoff team.
So you think the Yankees and you want the Yankees.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well, I don't really want the Yankees, but out of those
And
two
then
teams,
Houston versus the Yankees.
I already said my whole. Oh, yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
I mean, you have
I don't
Osuna
want
on-
Roberto Osuna to win. But
So-
he's on that team. They're gonna win at some point. Like,
Well,
that's-
you don't
that's-
really say that. You can't say, I don't know. What, a game or two? But I don't know if they'll win the series.
No, I mean,
So
like,
are you
I mean, like
saying-
for years and years. I was like, if
Oh,
I cheer
yeah,
against him now,
right.
he'll at some point win. You never know. I know, but the odds of that happening are pretty darn good.
So you're saying the New York Yankees are in the, in the World Series.
I hate the American League so much.
So you have the Yankees
Why
versus...
couldn't Oakland win and give me somebody
Trust
to
me,
cheer for
I
in the
want-
American League?
But you're playing in the Bronx. Come on.
I
like
know.
that.
If they were playing in Oakland, it might have been a different story.
Are you sure about that?
Well, it's a bigger ballpark. And
Really?
Oh God, yeah. It's one of the hardest hitters ballparks in the
They have
game.
what, like 60,000 people there? It's bigger as in like crowd wise or
No,
like actual.
as in field
oh,
dimensions.
field wise. Because it was made for football.
Right. And it was made, it's a huge ballpark. And see Crush Davis, hit 40-something home runs in a huge ballpark. It's ridiculous. He can go anywhere else.
So it's Chris Davis with the K.
Yes.
Okay.
If he played for the Yankees, the Red Sox, or the Blue Jays, that guy can hit over 50. He's a beast.
Yeah.
And with the Yankees, look, you saw yesterday, Luke Voigt hit a ball to the wall. In Oakland, that's a fly ball out.
Yeah.
So it's a big difference. The Red Sox have not proven to me they can be a playoff team. They've won like I said, they won the division 2 years in a row. And those 2 years,
Yeah.
they've won one game.
Because of bad pitching or hitting or both?
Both.
Yeah.
They've been terrible. Chris Sale last year in the playoffs was terrible. He has an ERA of 6 in the playoffs.
So right now I think it's
And Price's ERA in the playoffs is over 5.
So it's 5 games right now, right?
Yeah, it's best
In the
of 5
ALDS?
here in the ALDS, yeah.
And then In the ALCS, I guess, it's going to be 7.
And then the World Series at 7, yeah.
Right, okay.
That's how it all lays down
Now,
there.
who's going to have home field, I guess, for the World Series? Because they don't do the All-Star game anymore.
Well, the Red Sox won the entire
So
league.
they get it no matter what.
If they make it all the way to the finals, then yes.
So I guess it just goes by record.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is the way it
so
should
you
be
have
in
the
my
Yankees
eyes.
versus the Rockies, I guess. Or no, wait, who was it?
Yankees versus the Red Sox.
No, Yankees versus the Brewers in the World Series.
I would love that.
No.
Because it's two different teams I haven't seen in a while.
All right, fine. Who do you think?
I think it's probably going to be Dodgers and Astros again. I really do.
Really?
I think it could repeat.
Okay.
I don't really know what the heck's going to happen this year. I really hope, because with baseball it's so hard to predict. Yeah. Everyone can predict the Boston Red Sox the last 2 years are going to go on to the World Series. They can't even win a game in the first round.
Yeah.
So,
and my hot take is going to be, yes, there's a lot of hot takes, ladies and gentlemen. The Colorado Rockies aren't going to lose a game at all.
you're an idiot.
It's a hot take for a reason. Listen, if I get this right, I'm going to be gloating. I'm going to be laughing.
Yeah, what if they lose game 1? Then it's over, bud.
Yeah, it is over.
It's over.
So what's your hot take?
My hot take, the Boston Red Sox will not make the World Series.
Okay. That's actually pretty big hot take. If okay.
Look, 108, or was it 108 wins they had this year?
So I think both our hot takes are pretty hot. Mine's scorching.
Okay, take it easy there, bud. Yeah,
Mine is scorching.
But I just don't believe that the Red Sox are a playoff team. Now, they'll obviously find a way to prove somebody wrong, which is fine. It's fine by me. I don't really care, but...
yeah. You want to talk about the Jays managers quickly, or just go straight to the questions?
Yeah, we can go to the managers real quick here, and I'm just looking at a list here that... let me just find some here. Is there any list? Hold on. Yeah, so I have some here. Sandy Alomar Jr., the Cleveland first base coach, which was actually on the Blue Jays shortlist when they signed John Farrell in 2010.
Oh
yeah. Stubby Clapp, fresh off a second straight Manager of the Year award at Memphis in the AAA League. So, 2-time Coach of the Year, back-to-back coach times. John Schneider, a former minor league catcher in the Jays organization. He managed AA New Hampshire to a playoff spot this season and coached most of the young players. John Schneider, that's the guy. I think I've been saying Dan Schneider this entire time, but John Schneider is the guy that I think, if anybody in the organization, that's what. Tim Wallach, the former Expos All-Star third baseman. The MLB is clearly going towards whole player coaches kind of thing with the Yankees, Aaron Boone and Alex Cora.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So that's having Chris Woodward, a former Blue Jay, a Blue Jays utility infielder for 6 years. He's currently a third base coach for the Dodgers right now. And Manny Acta, Brad Mills, Mike Redmond, Eric Wedge are possible other ones. And again, another guy I heard about was a guy, former Blue Jay, Eric Hinsky. He was.
My name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he was back in the Frank Catalanato days and the Delgado days and Vernon Wells and all those days for the Blue Jays. But I look at him, and I'm like, you know what? He was a guy who always used to speak very well. And I don't know if that's anything to behold. I don't really know if he's coaching at all or anything.
Doesn't matter if he can speak as long as he makes good decisions.
Agreed, but it's kind of hard in baseball to make good decisions. Yeah. You make decisions and the players perform well, then that's why John Gibbons looked so good in those 2015, 2016 playoff runs, because those teams were good. So it's hard to say, but I think right now it's up in the air. I think in the next month or so we'll hear about who the next manager of the Blue Jays will be. Now we're going to hit the questions. Who we got first?
We got good old Reid-Foley here. Favorite sports?
I don't have one.
And ECHL.
I mean, you know my first 3 because that's what I do YouTube videos.
Okay, well, which one's your favorite?
I can never choose. Sorry.
Okay, for me it's hockey. ECHL team, I guess the Solar Brewers or the Growlers.
The Growlers, I guess, because they're the Toronto affiliate.
Actually,
I don't know anybody
that's
else.
the St. John's Growlers. Or no?
Is it?
I know it's the East Coast now. It's not Rich Clune. Who is that guy who's now the coach?
I don't know.
It was Ryan Clough.
Oh, Ryan Clough, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you guys like Green Day or Eminem? I have to pick Eminem. Green Day back in the day wasn't bad.
Yeah,
though.
like if
what was that album?
American Idiot back in the day. Yeah. Those. I mean, Eminem's always going to be good. Green Day was always good back in the day, so I like both. I guess.
So we got Roderick B.
2 questions from him.
At the King of Ridge. 2 questions, both about goaltending. First, does Sparks have any potential to be good backup this season?
Yes, but potential is the one thing. And then one thing I actually forgot to mention in that whole Sparks spiel that we did. Garrett Sparks was an AHL starter and put up those numbers. He's going to be a backup now. Can he handle it?
It's different though.
I know.
The game is
exactly.
Yeah.
It's so different. Can he handle being a backup and not playing every single game?
Especially against the tougher players.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be very different for him. Will he
we're
do
not
good?
Sure.
Only time is
It's
going
just
to
a
tell
big
with
question mark, Garrett Sparks.
Yeah.
It really is. Second, if McElhinney gets put back on waivers by the Hurricanes, should the Maple Leafs pick him back up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And then we got Michael. When did you first see Curtis go on waivers? Did you rage? And if Freddie gets hurt, do you think the Leafs are done for?
My first thought when I saw McElhinney go on waivers, it was kind of like, whoa. It wasn't a rage. It was more or less, whoa. Like
when both of them got claimed, it was whoa. Because I had a feeling that one of them would get
put on waivers. He said.
Oh, put on waivers. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Initially, I was like, whoa.
Same.
I did not expect that, but I'm hoping he clears, and he obviously did not.
And then the second question is that if Freddie gets hurt, do you think the Leafs are done for? Listen, if any starting goaltender gets hurt, that's a huge loss.
Look at Carey Price going down.
It could be Freddie. It could be Carey Price.
Jonathan Quick.
It could be Martin Jones. It could be
Cam Talbot, arguably.
Yeah, exactly. Any starter goalie.
Rask.
Jake Allen. They don't have to be good. If they're starting goalie, then it's a huge loss for the team.
You could arguably say that that's very good for the Leafs now because you've had Garrett Sparks, who's had a lot of starting experience in the AHL. But
that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing for him to start and Freddie be hurt. I don't think we're done for, but
you have that opportunity.
Listen,
just in case.
If Freddie's hurt and Garrett Sparks is starting, who's your backup?
Yikes.
right?
You don't
Justin
have much,
Peters because he has the best, or Jeff Glass. No, like we went from having the best goaltending depth in the league to probably one of the worst.
Yeah, really. We have nothing after Sparks and McElhinney.
So I do agree. Again, it all depends how Garrett Sparks does, but from the numbers, it's not looking too pretty. Let's just say
it really isn't, because when you don't have the depth, and Freddie Anderson has had time to had opportunity, like had times where he has gotten hurt, but we've had Curtis McElhinney. Yeah. We now do not. Yeah. So I'm just praying and hoping that he stays healthy this entire time, and that everything goes nice and peachy. But hopefully, we're gonna have to wait and see. Yeah. I think that's gonna wrap it up, though.
Episode 31,
31 times.
So we're gonna,
yeah, that is crazy.
Do you want to talk about? I mentioned this to you about a best of series around Christmas time. If you guys want to send us in any clips that you thought it was like funny, anything me or James said, which is pretty much all the time.
Yeah, but for the most part, it's in every podcast. There's at least something.
Exactly, but we were thinking about editing some like the best of, maybe like a 45 minutes to 50 minutes, like a best of podcast during, what was it? Maybe around like Christmas time.
Yeah, around that, or Christmas, New Year-ish area.
I think that'd be fun.
It would be.
I don't know how long it's gonna be.
Well, it all depends on how much.
Because we did say a bunch of funny things on this podcast.
There were quite a few things.
What's the funniest? I gotta say, I remember when we were the Andrew Wiggins trade, and then you mentioned the Lul Dang thing.
Oh yeah, my boy Lul Dang. Yeah.
And I'm like, I think it's Lul. No, Luel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Lul Dang. No, it's my guy, my boy Lul Dang.
Lul Dang.
Okay, I think that's where we're gonna wrap it up right there.
Yeah.
But good. Yeah, guys, if you guys want to see that, and you also find some interesting. But put the timestamps in.
Timestamps episode and then the timestamp so then we know. Yeah. But yeah, wrapping it up.
And we really appreciate your guys' support every single week, guys. And next week's podcast is up in the air right now. I don't know what the heck's going on with that.
Again, he tells me this live, guys, so I'm as surprised as you.
There you go. And we really appreciate your support, guys, every single week. It's been a ride. It's been a fun time.
Yeah, man.
And the Leafs season will be completely underway, and the Raptors will be just about underway.
Yeah.
Once the next podcast is underway. So I'm excited. I know you are.
And I'm excited, too.
Every week is always a good one, because hopefully William Nylander is going to be a Toronto Maple Leaf by next when we say it every darn week.
And it's never happening, but I have a feeling.
With that I heard from Chris Johnson, that I'm hoping it's true.
Listen,
and then
next episode is episode 32. Okay. So I think that's the number that Nylander is going to take place. 32 is Josh Levo. Nylander comes in. Josh Levo leaves. Nylander signed.
You think Josh Levo is going to be out? Well, that's a question for a different podcast.
That's another hot take.
There you go. Why not? This podcast is full of hot takes.
Yeah.
That's just what it is, all right? So, guys, I thank you guys so much for everything, and I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and
Follow up my Twitter. Follow up the Teal Sports Talk Twitter.
It's all down below in the description below, guys. So we really do appreciate everything you guys do for us on a consistent basis. And we will talk to you guys sometime next week. Leafs, Raptors, Jays edition, as we always do. Hoping for a William Nylander contract to be done so we can actually talk good things. But only time will tell. So we really appreciate it, guys. And Evan and I will talk to you guys then.
Peace.